All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We got Cody Askins in the show today. So happy to have you on here, man.
Dude.
Thank you for having me on your show. That was a great questions you had, and there's so much for me to want to learn from you. You're the first non-farmers agent for me to have on here, but let's talk about, man, where do we even start? We got the training, the leads, the
Yeah.
conferences, the digital marketing, but and you told me a little bit about your team and your staff and what it all
Yes.
involves, but give me a little overview of what you're all about and what you got going on these
Yes.
days.
Dude, I love it, man. So I got started my dad's been in the industry for 30 years as of April. He started April 1990. I was born July of 90, not to make anybody feel old. And then I got started in the industry as an intern at 19. And at 19, I was cold calling out of a phone book for a veteran agent, right? Before I knew you weren't even supposed to be doing that. And then I quickly transitioned. I saw people having some success, making some money. I transitioned to being a full-time agent. I'm 20 years old. I'm in college playing basketball, taking at that time about 21 credit hours a semester, and which was a lot. And I remember going into a
Yeah.
recruiting meeting when I make the decision, and the manager says, "All right, all you guys stand up," and he's like, "Look around." So we start looking around. He said, "Okay, now all of you, just one of you stay standing," and he leaves one person standing, and he says, "Now look around." He said, "Maybe one of you will make it." And I'm like, dang, dude, that's a real positive way to start this whole deal. But deep down, I'm very competitive. So I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, if there's going to be a one, I am going to be the one. And so I wrote down in that moment, I'm a big goal guy. We'll get into mindset and some other stuff, I'm sure. I wrote down in that moment, I will earn $100,000 my first year in the insurance business. I
Boom.
dated it, I signed it, and I hung it up in the wall of my cubicle. And then every single day, I went out to make that a reality. And then no leads, one product. And I went out and cold called and cold door knocked. And I would door knock 175 doors on a Friday. I would cold call for 6 hours on a Sunday. Like whatever it takes, right? So people say whatever it takes. That's really whatever it takes. Fast forward, in 8 months, I made $117,361.13 with the 1099 to prove it. And so I stayed an agent for several years. And now fast forward, I'm doing a lot more. There's some reasons why, but I'm doing a lot more training and everything else now.
What product was that?
That was strictly 100% life insurance. That was it.
Life insurance.
I didn't sell an ounce of anything else,
Uh-huh.
just life. Mostly a lot of whole life and term.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
That Now that company that you started with, that didn't have anything to do with your father's business or your
It
father's
did.
involvement?
So at the time, that's a great question, by the way. Most people have never asked that. At the time, my dad was a general manager for that specific company. I started out with Mutual of Omaha,
Okay.
and he was a general manager. He had district sales managers. So one of his sales managers was my leader at the time. And I gave the manager a bunch of ideas on how to, improve things along the way. And I even I remember going to Office Depot because I was tracking my activity every day. I think everybody should track their activity every single day. I remember going to Office Depot and buying $100, I think it was like $109 whiteboard, 4 by 6 feet, 6 feet wide, 4 feet tall. I remember telling the manager, hey, we need to hang this on the wall because every agent needs to be putting their activity on the board every single day, because nobody wants to go up to we still do it in my office too for both of our sales teams. No one wants to go up to the board and write a big old zero.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. You're already implementing ideas as a rookie back then.
Yeah.
But
Good story.
yeah, as crazy as that story is, I'm almost not surprised because you're almost like a prodigy, man. Like,
Thanks,
you
bud.
know, you know how like a lot of like ball players and like, their dads was in the majors and they raise their kids up to become,
Yep.
it's you that you grew up in the business, and was that the fastest anyone has made that type of money, you think?
In that office, it was the first person to ever make 100 grand the first year.
There you go.
In my dad's region, it was the fastest someone had done it as like brand new to the industry as a career entirely. It was my first sales job, really. I mean, honestly. But there are other people that do that. It's just very rare. I would say about 0.1%,
Mhm.
if not even less, of all new agents make six figures their first year. I remember making a trip to out near you. Actually, it was Monarch Beach, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the only 5-star resort in St. Regis, Monarch Beach. It was the only 5-star resort in California. I won a trip to that and got an award. I was one of the top rookies in the country. I got to meet Magic Johnson, who was a speaker at that. Then we had a World Series contest later that year. I was fortunate enough to win that and be one of the top 7 rookies in the country and get a trip to the World Series. And I mean, for me, it was, dude, I just worked, man. You know, I set a target. This is going to seem simple, maybe even cheesy. I set a target, and then I do whatever the freak it takes, within reason, within ethical reason.
Hmm.
I do whatever the freak it takes to make it a reality.
You're
That's
a
it.
hustler, man.
Yeah,
That
dude, you're a hustler, man. You are constantly grinding all over Instagram. I see it constantly, and I love it.
Yeah, well, what else is there to do, you know? It's like if you're
Yeah.
gonna do something, might as well be something that's productive. So
Yes.
that's how you guys started. That's off to an amazing start. And how long ago was that? That's not even that long ago if you think about it, right?
Yeah. It was about a decade ago, about 10
Yeah.
years.
Now,
Yeah.
10 years now, tell me about the team you have and the operation you have right now.
Yes. So what led up to that is December of 2015, I started putting up videos on YouTube. Right? Hey, here's how the 7 secrets for you to, be successful and make 6 figures, etc. Started putting up videos like that on YouTube every single day. And now we've got over 2,000 videos. We're approaching 25,000 insurance agents that subscribe and watch our content. And so if you're watching this, you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. Look me up at Cody Askins. Dan, you didn't know who I was either,
Yeah, no, yeah.
And so there's million. I mean, there's 1.1 million insurance agents in the U.S. So 25,000, very small piece, right? And deep down, I always knew I wanted to help agents.
Hmm.
Like I remember a sales manager looking at me and saying, "Hey, there's 2 agents that are struggling. Somebody called me and said, hey, can you drive 4 hours to work with these 2 new agents these rookies that are really struggling, not making any sales?" So I drove up there, helped. We made 5 sales from cold canvas door knocking in one day. One of the best days I've ever had. It was a ton of fun. No leads. And we just had a ton of fun. High fiving. They're making sales. They're making money. They're like, oh my gosh, this is possible. This is crazy. I remember driving home. I left the business with them. I didn't take any commission, but I remember driving home 4 hours, and I'm like, that was the most fun I've ever had.
Hmm.
Something clicked for me, man. You know what I mean? Like my switch was flipped,
Hmm.
and I remember saying, I got more gratification and satisfaction from seeing Greg and Hunter make sales. That was their names. Than I got when I made sales.
Mm.
And it was something special. And I thought, I think I've found what I'm meant to do, man. I can make the complicated simple, and I help people make sales that they're not used to making. And that's what started the YouTube channel. Was putting out content to help agents. I didn't know where it would lead. It has grown into a conference, called 8% Nation, a Cody Askins brand. Where we've got about a dozen staff members that work on that, and that's training, consulting, and coaching for the insurance industry.
Hmm.
We have a sales system and some other things. Then we've got secure agent marketing, and I've got a business partner in that company, and his name is Landon McCarter. We've got about close to probably close to 50 staff members in that company.
Wow.
We manage about $1.5 million a month in ad spend, and we manage the marketing for companies and agents, and we're adding another 6. We've got about 4,500 square feet now. We're adding 6,100 square feet December 1st. And so, dude, we're just trying to think bigger. We're trying to keep up with people like you, man, and just keep growing this thing,
Yeah, well, that's the 2 areas that I think you really, when you talk about helping agents, it's really about, how to sell and provide the leads.
That's it. Yep. Get in front of
Yeah,
people, and close them.
right. So those are 2 absolutely valuable things that you offer to agents, and I really commend you from having that, that service mentality of you really want to help other agents. And I really sense that genuinely from you, that you really
Thank you.
are here to want to help. And um,
Yeah, it
uh,
kind of grew out of demand, really.
mhm.
I mean, I didn't know that 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months after putting up videos, that agents would start reaching out saying, hey, we love your stuff. Can you train us? Hey, do you do marketing for agents?
Hmm.
And so it kind of like grew. Do you have an events? Can you train our team? Can we hire you to come to New York for a week? Stuff like that. And it's kind of morphed into a couple companies that are growing, trying to do very well. And it was just out of the need to help those people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a lot of subscribers too, and I was so honored to be on your channel. That was an amazing experience. The staff you
Dude,
guys have, and you guys really leverage technologies so
thank
well,
you.
and then that's something that I feel as an industry maybe you're a little behind.
Yeah.
So you're like a breath of fresh air, like coming out with all this energy and using all the tools we have now. What
Thank
are
you.
what do you think is like the number one tool as far as technology is concerned that insurance agents should be taking advantage of, you think?
Ooh, I would say two things. On the training side, they need to be plugging into a online video training platform that they can learn on and get better on every single day. I'll talk about my daily Power Five and some of the things I do later, but they need to be plugging into training content. You got to get better, right?
Hmm.
It takes a couple days to get rusty, right?
Hmm.
And on the marketing side, I think we need to be using automation to make some of the touches for us. We've got a platform called Samson that does some of those initial touches for agents. Like I teach a 12-step follow-up process, 6 calls, 3 texts, 3 emails in 72 hours. Well, if it's all manual, that's pretty hard to keep up with.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big believer in automation too. That has
Yeah,
really greatly helped out at our agency. And yeah, training is
sure.
that's something that it's not like, kind of nice to do thing. It should be like a necessary thing. And
Yes,
I think video is a great way to get that done in more of an efficient way, more consistent way too.
yes.
So those are some of the programs you provide.
Yes, Rich Cavaniss, good buddy of ours,
Yep.
he actually introduced me to you.
Yep.
That's how we met.
Thank you,
Um,
Rich.
yes, yes. His team is on our CA sales system.
Uh-huh.
And so when I was in Dallas, right before our conference, I stopped by his farmer's office and spoke to his team, did some training for about an hour, and then they plug into our sales system, daily sales training every single day. And it's not like the stuff that I say is the absolute best on the planet, because it's probably not. But there's consistency, it creates
Hmm.
discipline. You think of ideas, and when you're slowly learning and role playing and applying specific things every single day, your cells are going to improve. They
Hmm.
just will.
Nice. And you work with some, with all these agents that you're working with. Well,
Yeah.
what are some characteristics you see? Like, man, I see this pattern all the time. Like these agents that are high performers, that are absolute beasts, sales wise or building business wise. Like, what are some of the characteristics that you see the most?
Yeah. I noticed that they're coachable. They want to learn constantly, right? They want to consistently learn every single day. They
Right,
know they can learn something from anybody and they're open to it, right?
right.
They also have some type of mentor in their life that they can learn specifically from. Someone that they can learn what they've done. They can take the blueprints of success and they can apply them to themselves, right? The mentor piece. Most people struggle with, they think they know it all. Ego gets in the way. They don't want to learn. They don't have
Mm-hmm,
a mentor because that's cheesy. I don't need goals or a mentor or someone to tell me what to do or someone to help me. I got it all, right? I got it.
mm-hmm.
And then the third is they invest in themselves.
Right.
They invest in themselves all the time. You know what I mean? Like we're putting on a 1% mastermind in Scottsdale that I'm going to invite you to, that
Oh,
we're going to
wow.
bring 50 top money earners, top leaders from the industry to come and network together for 4 days. And the ideas, the relationships, the partnerships, the knowledge, the tools, you pick up an idea in an elevator that's like freaking life-changing, like those kind of moments. Are insane. So that's what we're doing, like the 1% Mastermind, the 8% Nation Conference. I do a weekly accountability call for agents every single week. Most people don't invest in themselves. They think it's weird to spend money on making themselves better. Between this is true, by the way, between retreats, conferences, events, boot camps, coaches, sales training, universities, et cetera, et cetera. I guarantee you I've spent in excess of $300,000
Oh,
investing,
on other people's
investing,
training.
investing in me,
Right.
exactly,
Okay. Okay.
from other people, just
Gotcha.
in me, pouring into me. And I bet I've invested that over the last 30 months.
Oh wow.
And if you look, everything started to change early 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I finally pulled out my credit card and invested 15 grand to change me. And it makes you think bigger. It pulls you in a direction. When you get around big time people, success people, it lifts you up. It
Mm-hmm.
energizes me when I get to hang out with you, dude. I leave all freaking jacked up, and something starts to shift. Something starts to change.
And when you speak investment, you always want to think what you get back in return. But if you think about the money you spend, but tell us a little bit about what has you gotten back from that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I've got specific things. So like I
More than
have.
what you spend, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, I've paid business coaches 30 grand. I've paid, I've paid marketing coaches. I've paid just to go to one specific conference. I bet I've spent 100 grand the last 3 years. Last 2.5 years, there's been 3 events.
Wow.
I'm constantly investing, but what I'm looking for, I'm not even looking for like a monetary immediate return, because if you go into it, most people, their favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? Well, most people think too short term. I want to think what's in it for me, but I want to think long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, our brand has been lifted because of all the things we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've met some people that's allowed me to be on stages and speak and be on podcasts, everything else that I probably shouldn't be on, right? I've also taken away relationships from a networking aspect. Most people think, networking is cheesy, but man, networking is where it's at, dude. Like the relationships I have in the industry are deep, they're incredible, and you can tell, like I try to be active with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I also have specific nuggets of ideas. Somebody says one word and it makes me think of something that I'm going to do. Like we were doing a Medicare panel the other day with just like 6 of us on video, talking live, just hanging out. Someone said something that made me think about something else that I'm going to make 50 grand off of that idea this year. Just
Yeah.
because somebody said something when I was hanging out with them, So that's what I look for. Like it makes me think on a different level as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, it's crazy whenever these like game-changing ideas come from. You just never know.
Oh,
But if you're always like actively looking and thinking and um, working with other agents and just if you're always your mind's going, I've had those moments too.
yes, dude, you seem like an idea man. You seem like you have some like ideas popping up in your head like crazy because I do too, man. It's just
Hmm.
like it's like all day every day. I'm like some of them I got to put in a parking lot, because
Yeah,
I can't do them all.
you just have to write it
But
down and to kind of like go through and see which one wins. But
yes,
yeah, when it comes to when you said coaching and mentorship, investing, I think one of the things that totally makes sense is that the humility, because when you have the ego, that becomes the enemy, and that's really when you don't. Well, I don't need the coaching,
yeah,
I got to figure it out, like you said, and that's really something that I strongly believe in too. Like the real successful ones, the ones that take to the next level, are the ones that want to invest the money, they want to keep learning, and they feel like they haven't figured it out yet.
yeah,
Which I feel like we still have a lot more to get done.
for sure.
So,
It elevates my brain, and I learn stuff every time I do it, man. Every time I invest.
what are some things that you asked me this question as far as numbers wise that you're proud of, as far as to look back, a decade in,
Yeah,
numbers wise, it does, it could be monetary, it could be staff wise, or it could be like, I mean, the subscriber count is amazing to me because that,
sure.
in the insurance game, I think there's no channel that's doing that kind of, training and, but what are some things right now you could say that, yeah, I'm pretty proud to share.
Um, I mean, something pretty private, I guess, that since you ask is a great question to lead into. This next year, with everything we have going on, there's no doubt our total company revenue will be in the 8 figures. No question about it.
Wow. So you're thinking about doubling then?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Always, right? I'm always thinking about, okay, how do I double everything we're doing every,
Love
I
that.
would love to double everything every 90 days.
Mhm.
Sometimes once it's a big enough number, um, it becomes a lot more difficult.
The power of thinking big. I feel like, and I don't want to, sometimes with, um, maybe, I don't want to say, but maybe some with farmers agents, we may struggle with that a little bit.
Yep.
The power of thinking big. What is the unlock? What is the aha moment that got you to that point? And what are some advice you could give to other agents that doing well? We're happy. We have a great lifestyle. Maybe we're very blessed. But what is it that
Yep.
we need to do to take it to the next level? You think?
Yeah. I think exposure and environment
Mm,
motivates me, right?
right.
Exposure to people, places, and things, to new things, right? Having a new environment that levels me up, that makes me think on a different level. Because there's going to be a lot of farmers agents that watch this, which is incredible. And I'm blessed and honored to be the first non-farmers agent on here. And I love farmers, by the way. Okay, I really do. What I want to add though is, do you want to be the 32nd ranked farmers agency in the country? Why don't we think about being the 32nd ranked agency in the world, the number one farmers agent, the number one farmers agent by 10x, right? Like how
There
do
you go.
we start to challenge ourselves? Like when I get bored and complacent and lazy, it's because I don't have something challenging me. So what I do when I lose momentum, when I lose motivation, right? When my mindset starts to slip, what I do is I put a target out in the near future that is big enough to challenge me to go hit it, to go get it. That's the reason we started throwing the Apers Nation conference back in 2018, because for me, I need stuff to pull me forward constantly. And so we just came up with the 1% mastermind idea literally last week. No joke, last week. And we're going to roll it out publicly this Friday. And it's going to fill up within a matter of a couple weeks, right? And it's because I know what that getting around big time people has done for me, and I know what it'll do for others. And farmers agents need to start to think about, how do I get exposure to new people's places and things, and how do I increase my environment and get around some amazing people doing some big things. And I'm telling you, it'll start to level you up. It'll start to challenge you. It's getting me jacked up just thinking about it, man. It just, you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
starts to flow. It does.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the exposure is so important. And then the goals have to be exciting enough. Like
Yes.
you said, challenging, but if it's like, man, if that could happen, I'll be so excited. Then you'll go, like you said, you'll do whatever it takes because you're so excited about that goal. So that
Yeah.
the goal being big enough is important, I feel like,
Yep.
to,
I mean, so if there's a farmers agency out there that's doing, what's a good number? Quarter of a million a year in commissions, or what?
yeah, that's definitely above average.
Okay. So say two, and then it's sad that is above average, but we're going to use it anyway. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It
I would
probably
say
is
so.
though, right? But let's just say 250 grand in commissions per year for an agency. The goal shouldn't be to get to 300, right? Because an extra 4 grand a month, $1,000 a week in commissions is not going to motivate me.
It's not
It's not
exciting
going
enough.
to pull me, right?
Yep.
So why not? When I say I want to get to 500,000 in commissions in literally 12 months,
Your life will change.
my life will change. It'll make me. It also, the bigger I think, the more the creativity starts to flow.
And
The
the
more
more,
the ideas
yep.
start to show up, right? And then I've got to think, okay, how do I make that a reality? If it was possible, how would I do it, right? And you kind of start to back up and start to break down the numbers and think, okay, well, I've got 2 salespeople. To do that, I would probably need 6. Okay, now we know one thing we got to do. We got to hire 4 more, right? Okay, so then what are some other things we need to do, right? I got to elevate my marketing budget, right? And you start investing more. You start thinking a little bigger, and I'm telling you, a lot of farmers agents they think a little too small, like we all do. And if we just thought a little bigger, and if we challenge ourselves a little more, we raise the bar a little higher, it will force us. Because I truly believe I could get into your space. I could go, I'll open up a farmer's agency, put me in freaking Maine. I don't care. And I truly believe that I can go from zero to which is above average, $250,000 in commissions, year one.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. You know,
Yeah.
I love the idea of just kind of like having a target and working your way backwards, the reverse engineering that part, you know. So setting that goal, you really could figure everything out. And I love that creativity part too. I totally get what you're talking about there. You know, once you
Thanks, bud.
figure out like, hey, I want to do that, then you're gonna figure out a way. And that's really when your mind start thinking differently. But that is something that I'd like to share with the audience, you know, that
Nice.
we want to have more people thinking bigger because I mean, what are some other, you know, insurance agents or agencies that you have to get us excited about what other people are accomplishing out there?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm coaching a State Farm office in New York that they manage 5,000 car insurance policies. Okay,
Okay.
which is a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount, and they're all in like one county, by the way, or a
Mhm.
couple counties. And we've added, we've shown them how to add an extra 70 life insurance policies a month
Damn.
by just some of the sales training that I teach,
Hmm.
by asking the right questions. When you get objections, what do? Right? I already have life insurance. What's the typical person say? Well, here's what I would say. Agree, answer, and ask. Fantastic. I figure you did, and most of our consumers do too. The good news is you've got car insurance with us. When you have life insurance with us, you save money on your car insurance. So let me do this. I'm not going to ask you to switch. I'm going to provide you a free quote to see if we can help you, because I'm assuming if you could have everything under one roof and simplify your life and not spread everything out all over the world, it would make your life easier as well. So I'm going to do that for you, and we'll just see if it helps. Sound fair enough?
You're gonna sell me right now.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the sales training, the scripts, right? That
Yeah.
that's something that you got locked down to a science there. You know, and I've seen some of your videos when it comes to like you're actually doing live calls,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. The what are some of the videos you got? And you got so many videos.
Yeah, we got
Well,
over 2,000, but one of them was me live cold calling life insurance leads when I was sitting in a tiki a tiki hut in Jamaica.
oh, I didn't see that
Yeah, on my anniversary trip, I got my
one.
wife recording me calling leads as they're coming in.
And you're
And I
so
think that
yeah.
I think that one I had like 10 leads and set like 4 appointments in like 20 minutes or something. But yeah.
Which ones for PSC agent would you think are some of like the best videos you want to like kind of lead them to get you started on your content?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some. I can have Dylan look some up to see what he comes up with. But we've got some. We've got some about like how I've coached them to sell more life insurance. How I've also coached them on some marketing strategies to increase the lead flow, the
Hmm.
organic content, etc. And then I've also done a lot of whiteboard presentations on how an individual agent could make 80 grand their first year selling home and auto. Because that kind of stuff doesn't happen a lot in this space. It's like
Hmm.
it takes time.
Yeah.
But dude, I think it can happen short term and long term. I was coaching a farmers agency out of Oklahoma um, end of last year, and they were about to go under. Like they were struggling. They weren't sure they were going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were having trouble making ends meet, and they just needed some of the right systems. They needed they needed the right training on a daily basis. They needed the team on the same page twice a day. And the right word tracks and questions and systems in place. And that's where I geek out and get all excited. Man,
Yeah.
is like for me, I felt the pressure to help that organization succeed, because if I help them and they go out of business, I will. It's just not okay, man. You know what I mean? I can't. I couldn't handle it.
It's like the obligation, you know, because
Yep.
they made that, you know, trust to, you know, hire you, you know,
Yes.
so that's a huge responsibility right there. So to turn that around shows a lot about, you know, your capabilities and you know your skill
Oh, yeah.
set.
The good news is, dude, you could have done the same thing, man. I mean, you spend a day with that office, they're gonna be killing it Kitajima style.
Yeah, no, I think some of the challenges that, you know, with building and I have you know, you have a larger passion when it comes to helping other agents, and I really respect that. So I don't know, it's to make the switch from, hey, I'm busy building up my agency, I'm so focused on building up my agency, to, but I still want to help, so balancing that is kind of like a struggle
Tough.
I find. But
Yep.
that moment that you had, that's when you completely shifted, or do you still do a little bit of like, building a book, the type of work right now?
I'm involved in two different agencies. So I help
Mhm.
my dad's agency, Secure Insurance Group, quite a bit. And then I also have another agency that I have a director run that's life insurance focused, more behind the scenes. We don't do recruiting. Um, but and then we also have a team that manages my previous book of business. So I'm not actively involved in selling insurance every day anymore. Um, but man, I would actually, I really believe if I wanted to spend 12 months selling life insurance 100% over the phone, that I could personally do $1 million in commissions in 1 year selling life insurance over the phone. And the challenge is big enough to entice me. But when you're managing and you're a part of, like, 5 different companies, it's hard to breathe as it is. So,
Would you go the final expense route, or what would you do?
um, I
Because I know
probably
you like
would.
final expense, right? Is that a good
Yeah,
market?
I do. Life insurance in general, I've got some
Mhm.
sales processes and some unique things that can help anybody. But yeah, the final expense piece, door knocking for helping people with burial and cremation and final expenses was a specialty of mine. Um, Calling leads and cold calling to find leads to then, roll through a pitch and a script to close people. Um, I got to where, I got to where I was putting up, even back in probably 26, 2015, actually. I was putting up, um, a team of 3 started a call center, and before you know it, we're doing 80 policies a month, just in all life insurance.
No, with your energy and some of the training that you have, I feel like training helps you too a lot. Like when I train somebody, like you kind of like
Yes,
reinforces what you believe in, and you're kind of repeating it. But I have no doubt if you really got serious into just sales, that you'd be putting up 7 figures numbers
no
solely
doubt, buddy.
by
Thank you.
your
And then
commissions.
also, you mentioned energy. There's 3 E's that I talk a lot about in my sales training.
All right.
Enthusiasm, right? If you don't
Yep.
have a passion, your enthusiasm doesn't come out, you're not selling a product. You're not selling car insurance. You're selling Dan Kitajima. You're selling your passion, your conviction, why they put it there. They can buy it anywhere, right? Enthusiasm. Second's engagement. We've got to keep people engaged. We got to keep them a part of the process. They can buy it anywhere, right? But how do we keep them engaged throughout the whole process without us just vomiting and puking and talking a lot, right? I'm going to
Mhm.
lose them. Got to keep them engaged. And the third one's empathy. They have to know
Mm.
that you care, that the relationship's important, that you want to build rapport, that you want to help them, and that you're the dude to get them what they want.
Empathy, energy,
Yep.
engagement.
Yep. That's
Man,
right.
I love those threes. Tell me about 8% Nation. What does the 8% mean? Like, and what are some of the guests you have on there? Because I know there's some names that I've uh, uh, watched their content too. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, share us a little bit about that.
You're gonna be hanging out with me in the room when we meet those big speakers next time.
All
So
right.
the main ones, 8% Nation is derived from the fact that 92% of insurance agents fail within their first 3 years.
Wow.
All lines. It
Yeah.
sucks. It's horrible, right? So only 8% succeed. So we want to bring the industry together to put an emphasis and a focus on helping people up, right? Not giving them a hand out, but giving them a hand up, right? And helping them out, right? So we've had speakers like Grant Cardone, the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, one of my personal favorites, Inky Johnson. We've had Tim Story, Justin Forsett, Coach Bird. We've had a lot of incredible Marshall Silver. We've had a lot of incredible speakers, and that's that. The 8%'s my baby. I love it. It's a blast. Nothing will change your business in your life like an event will. And if the people haven't been, they're thinking, oh, the average age of the insurance industry is 59. Oh, they're probably going to play music that doesn't have words, or somebody's going to be playing a piano in a corner of a ballroom, and it's going to be the most boring, old-fashioned, most conservative freaking conference ever. No, this is the opposite, right? The energy. If you think I'm freaking energized now, you ought to run in a room with 1,000 other people where we're playing, some freaking music to get you pumped up, where we're bringing out a surprise speaker, where we're dropping tens of thousands of dollars from the ceiling.
I saw that.
Just because, right? Like, that's the conference I want to be a part of, man. I want the motivation. I want the hype, right? I do. But I want some valuable nuggets. I want the ideas to flow. I get on stage multiple times a day and actually teach and train. And even pull up audience members and ask for their goals and interact a lot and that kind of stuff. And that's what a conference is all about. It's about, right, enthusiasm, engagement, and empathy. Most of the insurance conferences lack enthusiasm. Most of the insurance conferences definitely lack engagement because I'm asleep in the freaking first row 3 minutes in. And then empathy, you don't know if they care or not, man.
Yeah. You just care about waiting for it's over so they could just go to the bar.
Dude, you ain't lying.
Yeah, no, that's the insurance business needs this, man. It just needs that, those 3 E's. And so is that is that like a once a year thing or?
Yeah, 8% Nation is once a year in July, typically in July of every year. We had to push it back and we did it in September. We just did that in Dallas, September 25th, 26th, Friday, Saturday. It's a 2-day event. Most insurance industry conferences canceled.
Yeah.
I'm the dude that, remember, does whatever it takes, persist, shows up. We themed it this year, the show must go on. And then we had the conference with hundreds of people in attendance. And we did it in a safe way, but we wanted to let everyone know you don't have to cancel everything, right? You can reschedule, you can make it happen, because this event changed some people's lives. What if we wouldn't have did it, right? So we've got that one every year. We've got a virtual one in February. We've got the mastermind in January. We've got different retreats. I've got a sales training boot camp coming up on December 12th. And that I'm going to spend an entire day walking through 7 detailed pieces of my sales system. So,
wow, you got a lot going on.
we keep it busy, and I want more, right? Most
Yeah.
people think when they get overwhelmed, I need to take stuff off my plate, right? No, you need to add stuff. You need to freaking, you know what I mean? You need to make it busier. And then, now I'm so busy that I get a lot accomplished. And when I'm not as busy, I'll go drink a cup of coffee with Susie that's struggling and listen to her, complain about how she didn't close the deal. But they're thinking about it, so they may do it,
Mm-hmm.
But instead, let's accomplish a lot.
Yeah. No, I think for me, being busy is like, I feel like I'm at my happiest.
Yeah.
Like when so many things are going, I almost feel like overwhelmed. I do feel overwhelmed. That's when I'm actually like in a Zen state. Like I'm like, man, this is like great. When there's
Yes.
nothing going on, that's really when like I'm depressed. Like I'm like, man, this sucks, because it's like,
Yeah.
so being busy is a blessing. So having a lot of things going on, I share that with you as far as just wanting to hustle and just wanting to get things done. That's great.
I love that. Thank you, buddy. Man.
Yeah, no. What are some things we think we could do together, man, to help us, some farmers agents or just PNC agents in general?
Man, I would love to do some type of like 1-day sales training event, or a virtual event, or a boot camp, or a retreat, or I really believe they need, their people need it. Whether the owner needs it or not, they probably do, but their people really need the simple sales strategies that I can specifically teach them in a very simple way.
Yeah, just increasing that closing ratio.
Yes.
Man, that could make a big difference in the long run. So simple sales training. Do you have something already for PNC agents, or a lot of the stuff that for life insurance, it relates, right? It's just
totally.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got a boot camp December the 12th that we're doing. That's a full 8 hours with me, where I'm diving into our sales system in great detail. It's 2 tickets for $497, so it's,
Where's that at?
It's actually virtual.
Oh, virtual. Okay.
Yep. They can go to CodyAskins.com
Mm-hmm.
under events and sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we've got that 1% mastermind, which is going to be a huge like power player networking retreat. So we did a power player networking retreat back in August.
Mm-hmm.
We had 23 like heavy 6 and 7 figure earners come to Springfield, Missouri. And that was the most incredible event and weekend I've ever seen. When you get 23 big time thinkers and dreamers in a room together, freaking magic happens. And it
Yeah,
was
I
one of the,
bet.
it was one of the coolest weekends ever. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you get to learn so much. I can't just imagine how much knowledge is in that one room. I guess where was it? It's like at a resort or?
It was at a 5-star hotel
Uh-huh.
in downtown. We actually brought them to Springfield, Missouri, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No, yeah, getting around like-minded people, I think that's really what it is. Like you said, to think
Yeah.
bigger. And I just want to. That's kind of in a way, when you hit me up, I was just so happy to see, hear someone like just putting their thoughts out. What do you think about when it comes to leads? Like, do you feel like agents should be creating their own, or do you think they should be partnering and purchasing them? Like, what are your thoughts on what agents should be doing to generating leads, and what are your overall thoughts on creating content when it comes to agents?
Yeah, they should be creating content. We put out probably 60 pieces of content a day when you include blogs and cut ups of videos and social and emails and everything else, and stories, probably more when you include stories.
Wow.
I think they need to be putting up content constantly. Um, and then if they have a marketing staff that can manage the leads, then sure, they can try to generate them in-house. But if they want to focus on just sales and outsource it, then I think it's okay to find someone that they can partner with that can take it off their plate.
Hmm.
I'm not saying buy them, but maybe you can partner with someone and get them at cost and just pay them a fee that costs way less than the cost of an employee to actually manage it for you. And then they know what they're doing, so they're going to do it better, which is going to save you money on your marketing, which is actually going to pay for the fee. So
Yeah. Two ways to go about it. But either way, you have to be doing either one.
you got to be doing something. Yeah. I mean, the key is to see the people, and if you're not seeing any people, you're not going to make any money. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, so the leads that you offer, what type of leads do you with the company you're involved with, that
Oh,
you
secure agent
offer?
marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we offer a multitude of different leads. We work with some PNC agencies we do a lot of Google AdWords and click to call and call ins on Google with PNC shops.
Hmm.
We have aged PNC data that has a ton of information. Um, we have, we
And
have,
and we could also
and,
sell life too. So
yeah, ton of life insurance
uh,
leads, final expense leads, Medicare leads, health insurance leads. Um, for any vertical within the industry, we've got something in some way to help them.
right. You got it all covered. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to help agents in all different ways. But yeah, I'm looking forward to figuring something out with you, Cody. Like, I want to get into a little bit more of the training side. I want to help more
Okay.
agents. Um, but yeah, and just looking at how you create your content, at a whole nother level. I'm just really excited that I'm able to, meet you and understand, like, there's other agents that are thinking this way. There are bigger ways, because
Yeah.
technology has been such a blessing for us, insurance agents, and
Mm,
I just don't feel like enough of us is really taking advantage of it.
for real. I totally agree.